In our introduction film, this is the European Year of Volunteering, 2011, and therefore Volunteer European TV is starting with the first panel debate. And my name is Rui Monteiro, I'm coming from Aarhus in Denmark, and I will be your moderator. And with me I have, from my right side, George May from Hanover in Germany, and then closer, Athina Mortiadou from Thessaloniki in Greece. And here to very right to me, it is Cristina Casacca from Riga in Latvia. And to my left side, I will have Camilla Notarbartolo from Milano, Italy. And I will have Ege Turkeri from Istanbul in Turkey. And far away, I will have Liam Wilson from York and the United Kingdom. Welcome to all of you. And you know, in Denmark, we didn't realize yet that is the European year for volunteering. What about your country? You realize that, or what? So we'll start with you, Liam.
No, I suppose it didn't realize it was the year of volunteering. Well, I mean, it was actually there was the year of volunteering in the UK last year, but I didn't realise it was the European one this year, so it should be interesting.
So what about you, George, in Germany?
I think it's a little bit better known. So I would say not even the half of the people know it, but it's a little bit better known because our government, since a couple of years, is advertising a lot voluntary service and also the European voluntary service. They really try to force voluntary service in the society.
And what about Istanbul?
People were not really aware of that.
And why?
Because both the government and people don't pay attention to volunteerism. It's not a very popular issue in Turkey.
And what about Greece?
I think we have some connection with the Turkish situation. We didn't realize that it's the European Year of Volunteerism yet, although the national agency did try to do a couple of events, but are very, they are focused to very few people, so I think the majority is not aware of that.
Yeah. And how is it in Italy?
In Italy, I think that people working in the third sector are aware that there is the European Year of Volunteerism, and the public administration in Milan is pushing very much on volunteerism in the last years, and also the region Lombardy, so they are trying to transfer the message that there is this event.
Yes. And how it is in Riga?
In Latvia, the situation is that the society is not informed that it's a year of voluntary, but we have this voluntary actions going on, not big, but still, every year, so kind of all the time.
But all of you are participating in this European project, Volunteer TV, and we are in Münster today. And so, George, can you tell how is your expectations to this Volunteer TV project?
We are all working in more or less in community media organizations, and community media would not exist without volunteerism. And this is, I would say, for everybody of us, the motivation to take part in this project and to say, okay, if we can develop volunteerism in the media sector, it's good for community media. Community media are important for participation, for active citizenship, and this is the debate in the society we need to develop in a social and democratic way.
Yes. And Ege, what is your motivation?
In participating in this project, I would like to know the ways, learn the ways, and also sharing my experience regarding communicating my ideas about various topics and how to tell my feelings, tell my thoughts to other people, as well as teach people or enable people who know the subject to teach the others to communicate in the media.
And Christina, what is your expectations?
Mostly my expectations for myself is to get new experience of the voluntary work, so I can share my experience with other young people and show them that voluntary work is actually a really good thing, just not for yourself, but for society altogether. So I'm kind of, that's the main aim I want to reach.
Yeah. And Camilla, you have been volunteering many years, so what is your motivation?
My motivation for being here is primarily to get in contact with good practices in the field of volunteering in community media. And second, it is to understand how to involve young people in volunteering. Since in Italy there are few young people involved in volunteering, which is not in the field of care, of health care and generally care.
Yeah. And Athena, what is your opinion?
I think my motivation for this activity is more or less what the previous people said. I want to get know-how on how to combine media education with volunteerism, and to be able to involve more young people in our actions so that we can go back home and multiply this effect.
Yes, Liam?
Yeah, well, I think it's great that volunteering groups will get exposure through this, whereas otherwise they wouldn't have done, and it will allow well, create volunteering opportunities and further volunteering in the community through the media.
Well, you all speak about volunteering, but what is volunteering for you? Can you say something, George?
Oh, I have a long history in volunteering. I started when I was 17 in an independent youth center, and we fought against the city. They tried to close it, and from there I went to a migration organization. I started with exchanges with Sicily, Italy, when I was still young. And I would say it influenced my whole life. It gives me a lot of impressions, a lot of ideas, a lot of intercultural impressions, and I would not be happy with missing it.
And even if in Turkey volunteering work is not very common, so you are a very active volunteer, we can say.
Yes.
So what is volunteer work for you?
Or volunteer work for me is using my skills without expectations to help the society, to help the society develop itself. So in my belief, it's more like paying my debt to the society by using my skills that I gained so far by using the public offerings to me.
And Athena, you work with a volunteer organization, more or less we can say. So do you remember still your first experience as volunteer?
Yeah, it was very interesting experience actually, because I volunteered for an organization that helps young children without families, and I was doing classes for them, and I realized through this first English classes I was doing, and I realized through this first experience that I was getting more things that I was given. And it was a very inspiring moment for me, and I decided that I cannot do without, because it's, I don't know, sharing your resources, as you said, and then it's a, I don't know, a process like that all through the way.
Yeah. And Liam, what is volunteering for you?
It's a way to do something I wouldn't ordinarily do, because I'm sort of from a science and academic background. So just doing, like, for example, conservation work or working in a museum is a different thing to do for me, and working in the media. I've been volunteering with a media group for several years now, and it's just an interesting sort of change, something different to do.
Yeah. And what about you, Christine?
For me, it's I'm kind of new in voluntary work, but it's the media, the shooting stuff is like a hobby for me, and then I decided that I can put it together, my hobby, and do voluntary work. And I think it's a great opportunity to do it together, to do things which you really like, and to get a benefit, like when you're giving something to society.
Yes. And Camilla, can you tell us some funny stories about volunteering? You have many, surely.
I have a very funny story, and it was my first experience. I had gone to help a disabled woman. She was a professor in school, still working from home. Actually, she didn't need my help. She didn't want even my help. But she was living with her old mother. The mother was 96 years old, and she had Alzheimer's, and she liked bananas very much. So I I was trying to construct a relation with her, and at once I understood that she wanted to eat, so I opened a cupboard, and it was full of bananas, because this woman loved bananas. Then I opened another cupboard, and it was also full of bananas, so it was very funny.
So you feel like a monkey. No, but all you speak about all these things is with a lot of motivation and so on. But what personal benefits do you get from it, George?
For me, the most important personal benefit is really this intercultural exchange. I got ideas from other countries, from other people, different cultures I never had thought about before. So really I got this context when I was young, and it was a completely new world. And this world changed so much in myself, in my person, that I, from that on, continued to work with migrants, to have migrants as friends, until today. I'm happy with that. And I would have missed it without this voluntary work, because in that times, we're talking about more than 30 years ago, it was not used, one was not used to work with migrants. They come to Germany to work here for 3-4 years, and then the concept were that they should go back with the money and disappear. And this were the first contacts here in Germany. It was quite interesting time, and it continued until today.
Liam, I know that you spoke about that you want to make a difference, but anyway, which kind of profits do you get for yourself?
Oh, for myself, it's, well, having the opportunity to do various things that I wouldn't have done before. Well, probably repeat myself, but and also it's things to put in your CV and just useful, interesting experiences.
Yes.
It's benefiting greatly. So.
Athena, what about you?
It's self-growth and self-development, and you get, I don't know, you get opportunities to learn in another way, in a non-formal way. So you learn all the time, and you meet people with different social and cultural backgrounds. I think it's a great opportunity to learn more things generally.
Yes, but in Greece you have problems about that because it's not recognized officially. So.
Yes, it is not. So the opportunities and the benefits that we get is for ourselves and solely for ourselves, because this is the main issue that we have, and it's a big discussion, the fact that voluntary service is not recognized by any official body in Greece. But nonetheless, it's very important for the professional growth of each individual, because you know how to deal with some situations that probably you don't have professional experience, but you did work for a voluntary organization. So it is important for the person, but not for the society in general, recognized.
Yeah. And Ege, what about you?
My gain is that I had the chance to know people from different backgrounds, from different disciplines, and sometimes it was very weird, very strange for me, because we basically live in the same country and we speak the same language, but our lives, our styles were completely different. So by volunteerism, I had the experience to communicate with different people from different lifestyles.
Yes, but the situation in Turkey is also not good, like in Greece.
Yes.
So what kind of expectations we can have in the future in relation to that?
Hopefully, the NGO people working for the third sector will put pressure, more and more pressure on the government to legalize, to set more liberal rules that NGOs can benefit for future growth.
Yes. And Christina, you are just tasting to this volunteering activity. So how is it?
And it's interesting, I already said, and the most interesting thing is to get to know different kind of people from different countries. And it's kind of giving you the opportunity to see the world in different colors, to see how it's organized, this voluntary work in other countries, and how it's to look how it's organized in our country. And of course, it's a good write in your CV, because in Latvia people don't know a lot about the voluntary work, but still, if they see that you have been done it, they think positively of you. It's 100% a positive thing.
And Camila, you have been volunteering many years, so it means you have a lot of personal profits. Tell us, what has been that?
I think the biggest profit that I gained through volunteering is that it gave me the opportunity to express my engagement. And also it gave me the opportunity to discover the mechanism of society. How is society functioning? Because when you volunteer, you meet many different people coming from various personal backgrounds. And working for many years helps you to discover the complexity of society and try to find solutions.
George, the European Union said that is a very important economical factor, volunteering. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, the scientist says it's 5% of the European growth. That sounds interesting for me. How they collect these figures, how they could do that. It has two sides, these coins. On the one side, it's a lot of wealth, a lot of engagement, what is done in Europe. On the other side, there's always the risk, and there we have to pay attention on the risk that the government go back out from social services they should do, because we pay taxes for it. We have insurances and all these things. So the risk is that they save money for other things we don't like, maybe weapons and military things and all this stuff. And we, the volunteers, do the work they should do for the social society.
Yeah. And Liam, but volunteering is also important for social development.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
For social development, well, it allows the organisation to do things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to do, and reach further than they ever would be able to under ordinary circumstance, because there simply isn't the resources to do everything that needs to be done. So, well, that's a social benefit, and obviously the volunteering benefits society because it enriches the people and the community that it's within.
And also people can exchange, I mean, from social strata.
Yeah, and it mixes people together who ordinarily wouldn't be mixed together, various sort of social classes, and just various people who under ordinary circumstances probably would never even cross paths, never meet. So.
And Athena, what means for you to be an active volunteer?
First of all, it means that you are an active citizen. So I think they go very well together. If you feel active citizens need to do something voluntarily. And I think this is the basic thing.
Yeah. And if I say also that volunteer work is important for social inclusion and integration, so what does it mean for you?
Yeah, it's, especially for developing countries, it means a lot because the difference between people is sometimes huge. Therefore, even domestic immigration from one side of the country to the other side and the integration of those different cultures is very important through voluntary work. And through voluntary work, people get together and share their ideas and work for a common purpose and just to be more in cohesion with different people.
And Christina, volunteering is also intercultural inclusion. So what is for you?
Intercultural, it's like in this situation, it's that I'm coming to another country to and can get new experience. Then I'm going back to my country and work with people who don't have experience with it. So I'm telling about the voluntary work and I'm spreading kind of the information and sharing with them.
Yeah. And if I say to you, Camila, that voluntary work enrich social solidarity in society, what do you say?
I say that it's true. It's true because it gives the opportunity to people that have more to give their time to help other people, but not only, also to stay with other people. And this makes a more solidary world. And on the contrary, you don't need to be rich to volunteer. You just have to need to have the motivation. And this is for sure enriching and making the world more solidary.
Yeah. So we all hear about that it enriches and is necessary for our society. But what thoughts do you have to you wish your situation in your country could improve? George?
To improve our situation, I would say what we are doing is not to improve our personal situations, but to improve the society at a whole. And that's the reason why I, for example, today work in the community media, because the media is a very important institution to bring problems on the surface, to discuss it, to bring people together, to transport policy from government to the people, and to bring their opinion back to the governments. And this is an important way to improve the society, also to provide the risk that voluntary work will be abused for social services that should not do.
And Liam, United Kingdom is one of the countries which I would say is in front of what volunteering is. You have even charters for volunteering. The unions are involved on it. Can you tell us about the situation in your country?
Yeah, I mean, having said that, I don't think England is as far along as you think, but there does exist a volunteering charter, which basically is to protect employees as well as volunteers, because for a start, it stops volunteers being exploited by companies just to sort of cut corners, and it also protects the employees, because obviously if you cut corners and just replace people with volunteers, then it sort of undercuts people who are being paid for the job. And it sort of sets limits and stuff on what people can and can't do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Athena, what can you expect in the future for volunteering work?
Generally, or in my country? Or for my country, I would expect that we take the example of other countries that have established better practices, like the things that I've heard here from our German partners and our partners from Denmark. And I expect that we establish a more structured environment so that volunteerism can grow better and more creatively.
Yes. And what about you, Ege? What do you expect in the future volunteering in Turkey?
As I said, I want the government to pay more attention to that, as well as people to be more active, like the percentage of volunteers.
How can that be done, in your opinion? How can that be done?
In my opinion, people should want it, actually, because it's a matter of, volunteerism is a matter of your feelings about other people. If you care them, you're going to volunteer, probably. Also, NGOs are responsible for this. They must find more creative ways of attracting people, especially young people, and enable them to benefit from some advantages, some positive advantages, to do voluntary work and study or work at the same time.
Yes, but anyway, you have a lot of problems if people are not prepared or even don't know, like in the cases in our country, what volunteer work it is. So it needs a lot of information or divulgation and more concrete work too, because it's just say, oh, we volunteer, but anyway, it's difficult if people don't understand it because they don't have the conditions to understand it.
Actually, it's a kind of cycle. Like if NGOs cannot put pressure on the government won't act. And similarly, if the politicians don't pay attention or just run after their own interests, their political interests, they will always suppress NGOs. Therefore, it's a cycle, and this cycle should be broken by the people, not by the government.
Yes. And Christina, what do you expect in the future for volunteering in your country?
Mostly it's the issue of information. The people should know more about voluntary work and what is it, what is voluntary work, because now it's kind of that, yeah, it's a good thing, people know, but they're not keen to do it. Yeah, it's fine when you do it, and I will just sit at home and look up good, but they don't get involved themselves, and that's what we should solve, the problem, that people are active, they go and do voluntary work.
Camilla, what do you wish in the future for volunteer work in Italy?
For volunteer work in Italy, I would wish, first of all, that it's intended more volunteering in all sectors of civil society and not only in the care sector. So also in activism for human and civil rights, in activism in media, in community media, and so on. And I wish that young persons involved more in volunteerism. And the second thing that I wish is that the politicians find a good balance between volunteerism and the big rate of unemployment that we have in our state, trying to recognize the professional skills of professionals and to recognize the work that they do in tutoring volunteers.
As we see and we can hear, we have different situations in all these countries that are involved here today, and it's very different from the United Kingdom, very organized, or Germany, or Denmark, and then in Greece and Turkey, and also it is like that, and also a little bit like that in Latvia. So if I would ask you now to say what volunteering work is in one word, this is the main thing, what it would be, George?
For me, it's connected with active citizenship. Sorry, it are two words, but
it's okay. It's okay. And you, Atina?
Social solidarity.
Yes. Christina?
Kind of, yeah, social solidarity and doing good things.
Camila?
Active citizenship.
Yeah.
Cultural exchange.
Yes.
Fun?
What?
Fun?
Yes. Okay. So, as you see, our time is running away, and I will go to finish the program saying that you must expect several debate panels like that or other type of programs, because Volunteer Project will go to do 16 reports, which will be edited in 4 TV programs. Thank you for today, and expect a little bit more from us in the future.